Can you believe the headlines we're reading? This picture here on the cover is the city council meeting and the city planners meeting social distancing themselves. So they're sitting, and on the back of this newspaper are lean times threaten eateries, hospital capacity at issue, shelters brace to protect the homeless. Trump uses crisis power to speed medical supplies. North Texas restaurateurs expect a horrific hit. Dallas medical centers do best to prep for worst. That's what man says. Max Lucado, what does God say?
God says, I'm still in control.
Come on now.
God says, I've walked this world and I've walked my people through crisis after crisis. And what appears to be a chaos is simply an opportunity for God to show up.
Amen.
When we see the world out of control, God says, I'm still in control. I'll walk through storms. I feed crowds and crowds when they show up without any food. I show up at a cemetery where my dear friend is dead. I just call him out of the tomb. I take Joseph, who's a prisoner in Egypt, and within a night, I have the Pharaoh call him up, make him prime minister, and he prepares the whole world for a 7-year famine. He's ahead of this. He's our protector. Anxiety is a part of the day, but it doesn't have to control the day. And this is an opportunity for God to show us, to call us back to himself. I just think God is saying, turn to me, turn to me. You know, when the New Testament church was born, when the church was born there in Jerusalem, persecution came and the church had to scatter. And I'm very confident that the early Christians saw that as well, to say inconvenience is not a good word. It was a frightening moment. But the result of that was what we call the diaspora. The church was spread all over the Mediterranean world, and churches were planted in Ephesus, in Rome, in Athens, and as a result, the word got out. Could be that this is our generation's version of a diaspora. I'm getting on my iPhone every day and recording 15-minute sermons. And we're getting 300,000 and 400,000 views of those. So to be honest, I would not have been doing that this week.
Right.
I might have been playing more golf or something,
Right.
But people are hungry now for hope. They're hungry for the gospel. What's God saying to us? Lord, are we hearing you? What are you saying to us? And I'm hearing two answers to that question. One is God is talking to the world, whether people love him or not. He's talking to everybody saying, don't depend on the economy. Don't trust your entertainment as your fulfillment. You look at the two collapses that have gotten our attention. The Wall Street collapse that we're experiencing. And who would have ever imagined basketball arenas empty during the month of March? It's just unprecedented. Unprecedented.
Right.
So God is getting our attention. He's saying, I'm your source of fulfillment. I think he loves people. And he knows that we've been going to empty cisterns or empty wells for hope. And so I think he's talking to those who will listen. But I also think he's testing the church, just like you're saying. And I get that because of that story of when Jesus fed the 5,000 and that 5,000 men plus women and children didn't have any food. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and he saw a great multitude coming to him. And he said to Philip, where shall we buy bread that these may eat? In John 6:6, look at this. He said this to test him, to test him. For he himself knew what he was going to do. And this phrase, test him, can be translated, he said this to stretch his faith.
Wow.
To stretch his faith. So how would Philip have passed the test? Well, Philip did not pass the test, neither did the other apostles, because they said, well, Lord, we only have this much money, and we only have this basket full of food. But what if they had have said, yeah, we don't have much money, we don't have much food, but we have you.
Yeah.
We have you. We've seen you walk to us in the middle of the storm.
That was the answer he was looking for.
That was the answer.
Yeah.
And they didn't pass the test. Still, he loved them. Still, they became wonderful apostles. They learned a lesson. I think Christ is saying, I'm going to stretch your faith, church. I'm going to stretch your faith. Don't freak out. Don't go underground. You be the ones who go out. You be the ones who stay strong. Looking at the different aspects of the life of Christ, what Christ accomplished for us, how much he cares for us, but yet how sovereign he is, that he is at once the coming king and yet our dear friend, why his miracles matter, why he needed to die on the cross, why his death had to happen. In a sense, sin is the spiritual coronavirus. You know, it infects all of us. And we need a vaccine, and Christ came to be that for us. And then the resurrection from the dead, how Christ stepped out of the grave on Easter Sunday. I saw a headline on when all the churches were having to cancel services, and there was a headline that said Easter canceled. And I began writing. I haven't finished it yet. I'm going to write a column that says Easter canceled, not on your life.
Oh, wow.
We can't cancel Easter.
Right.
We may close the doors. We may not be able to have church services, but you can't cancel what Christ did on Easter Sunday. That's out of our pay grade.
Right.
I mean, that's going to be celebrated.
Absolutely.
And so all the hero of history, Jesus Christ, can get us through this. He's the reason that we are doing what we're doing, and he's a coming king.